हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा. So thank you all for joining in. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nidhi Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरदुषे नमः. पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्त रूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्ति शक्तिकं. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः. मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून्यनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरं. हरिः ओम तत्सत्. Hare Krishna. So Dandavata pranam to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in. As always, we will start with one round of chanting with Srila Prabhupada. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे.
प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद.
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram.
Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Stottra Shata Divine Grace Avicharana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yamuna Maiya Ki Jai, Yamuna Maiya Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Kaliyuga Padita Pavana Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Mathura Dham Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Nadeep Dham Ki Jai, Purushottam Kshetra, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Srila Gurudeva Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Gaur. Hare Krishna. So thank you for joining in. We are on chapter number 3 of this very wonderful book entitled Srila Prabhupada's book, which is entitled Krishna Consciousness, the Topmost Yoga System. Right? So in this, we are on the 3rd chapter, which is crossing the 3 modes of material nature. Right? That means, how do we transcend the 3 modes of material nature? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita 14.26, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Right? What is the way to transcend the 3 modes of material nature? Abhicharena, mam chayo vyabhicharena. That means without deviation, without a break. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. What we should do? We should do devotional service unto the Lord. Sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. In this way, it is easy to transcend the 3 modes of material nature, and in this way, we will go back home, back to Godhead. We will transcend. We will situate ourselves in the Shuddha Sattvic platform. That means our propensity of Bhoga Vritti is completely extinguished. In that place, the Seva Vritti Bhav has completely come. That is the state of Shuddha Sattva. All right, and we also were reading from the book where Prabhupada is talking about the external energy, the internal energy, and the Tatastha Shakti, right? We were talking about it yesterday. How Tatastha Shakti explaining like a banks of the river, right? Sometimes it's wet, sometimes it's dry, right? Daivi Hayeshu Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarante. So many verses Krishna is telling us, right? If we take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we will be under the Yoga Maya potency of the Lord. Krishna says, very difficult to overcome Maya, but one who surrenders unto me can easily cross beyond it. And that's what we said, that as Jiva, the only thing that we can call our own is our desire. When we express our desire to serve the Lord, then we can use our Manasa, Vacha, Karmana in the service of the Supreme Lord. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. The body is made up of these 5 gross elements. And then we have our mind, we have our intelligence, and we have our ego, right? Because it is false ego that we want to lord it over the material nature, we are in the material world. When we come to our real ego, which is, I am the servant of the Supreme Lord, Jivera Swarupa He Krishna and Krishna Nitya Das, then we will go to the spiritual world, where we will eternally serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let's go on with reading of this book. This body is made up of earth, water, air, ether, and fire. This is called gross external energy, and there are also a subtle external energy, which is mind, intelligence, and false ego. This is what we read, right? Bhumirapo nalo vayu kam mano buddhi revacha. Right? These are the 8 elements that we're talking about, and the soul is actually trying to lord over all of this. Right? There is a beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gita. Right, Prakriti me param. Okay, there is this verse where it comes to the 8. Okay, well, let me just find out that verse. Skip to my mind once again. Apareyam mitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param. Right, apareyam mitastvanyam. Beyond these 3 material elements, there is this living entity. Right, apareyam mitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param. Jiva bhutam mahabaho. Yayedam Daryate Jagat, right? Beyond these 8 elements that we discussed before, Prabhupada, Lord Krishna is telling in 7.5, right? Krishna is telling, Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yayedam Daryate Jagat. That means beyond this or higher to this material elements is a living entity who's trying to lord it over the material nature. So as long as we try to lord it over the material nature, we'll be bound to this material world. But when we understand that we are the servant of the Lord, nothing is within our control. We have a limited control because we are part and parcel of the Lord. Then we are rightly situated to practice the path of bhakti. All right, so let's go ahead. Beyond the laws of nature. Oh, where is this? One second. Oh, somewhere I lost it. One second. Okay, yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, yes. So we are on the chapter number 3, which is beyond the laws of nature. Right? How do we transcend? Mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. That's what we have discussed. How we cross over the 3 modes of material nature by surrendering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. That's where we ended yesterday, right? The 8 gross elements, and then the subtle elements, and then there's the soul who's just trying to enjoy and lord it over the material nature. All right, so let's go ahead. Okay, I see many hands up already. All right, Jyotsna Mataji, go ahead. I am the proprietor of this body from there. Hare Krishna.
I am the proprietor of this body, just as one is covered by a shirt and coat, which are external to his real body. Similarly, we are covered by this gross body made up of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, which is the gross external energy of God or Krishna, and the mind, ego, and intelligence, which are subtle. Thus, we are covered. Should I continue?
Okay, we have many hands up, so let's pause here. So here, what is Prabhupada mentioning? Prabhupada is talking about what we discussed already. What did we discuss? This body is composed of chemicals, right? Which are in the form of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Right? And Prabhupada explains in Bhagavad Gita purport also how in each level, right, there is a higher level of perceiving, higher level of realization, right? So initially, you know, we cannot perceive the air, right? We can touch the water, like that. As and when we go, the earth is only the smell, sparsha, like that. So as we progress in this ether, air, fire, water, and earth, all of our five senses, we're able to experience the sense objects. We're able to perceive using our gross senses. And then there is this mind, and then there is intelligence, and then there is falsity, which are the subtle elements. All right. Suprabha Sumitra Mataji, go ahead. I may think that from there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, great.
Mataji.
Yes.
I may think that simply by having a nice shirt and coat, I can be happy. But is it possible? Unless you eat nicely, unless you sleep nicely, unless you have your sense gratification, will you be happy simply by putting on a costly shirt and coat? No, that is not possible. We want to be happy by adjustment of this external energy. That cannot be. You are spirit soul. You must have spiritual food. You must have a spiritual life, and then you can be happy. As you cannot be happy simply by having a nice shirt, coat, similarly, simply by materialistic way of life, you cannot be happy. There is gross matter and subtle matter. Gross matter includes high skyscraper buildings, machines, factories, nice roads, cars, etc. Subtle matter includes nice songs, poetry, philosophy, etc. People are trying to be happy with this gross and subtle material existence that cannot be. Why have...
Thank you, Mataji. So here, Prabhupada is talking about gross things and subtle things, like earth, water, fire, and ether. They are gross elements, and subtle elements are mind, intelligence, and false ego. Right? How do we satisfy the senses? By gross objects. Right? I love to eat certain kind of foodstuffs, you know, and then I like to wear some nice clothes. All these are perception to our senses. It gives us pleasure, you know, to look good, to wear some nice sari, or, you know, to eat nice food stuff, etc. Similarly to the mind, what gives mind, intelligence, and false ego, what gives us pleasure? Now, at the subtle level, we get pleasure when we are respected by others. We get pleasure when we are respected, when we are you know, when we win something, right? When we win some competition, when we win some prize, etc., then that titillates our mental platform and our intelligence platform, right? Some people, when they are awarded, you know, that, oh, you're such a good writer, or you're awarded, you're a very good, very beautiful artist, right? You draw very beautifully, and then they are given some kind of awards. That titillates their mental platform, their intelligence platform, right? When you write something and somebody glorifies you, then that actually it titillates or it causes a pleasure at a mental level, at an intelligence level, at a false ego level, because we're still enjoying, thinking that I am the doer. Oh, I have done this, and all these people are appreciating me, right? But that is still not proper enjoyment, because today somebody may praise you, but the same person may say, right, your work is ridiculous tomorrow, right? And are we going to feel happy today and sad tomorrow? That is foolishness, isn't it? And out of 10 people in the room, say 5 people may like it and 5 people may not like your work. Right? Each person has their own opinions. So why do we have to base our self-identity in material things and in those people who are appreciating something material? Right? I have drawn something nicely. Fine. Right? But we have to understand that I am not the doer. Right? It is only because of the skills and talents given to me by the Supreme Lord that I'm able to do this. I'm able to do this drawing, or I'm able to write this article, or I'm able to sing. Whatever we may be able to do, it is by the mercy of the Lord. And that is real identity. And we can be really happy only when we are situated in a real identity as a servant of the Lord. Right? In the Susukam Kartum Avyayam, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, as we do the service for the pleasure of the Lord, we are automatically feeling blissful. We don't have to wait for the result. We don't have to wait for somebody to tell, oh, this is a beautiful garland you made for Radha Gopinath. Right? It's not necessary that somebody has to praise you, because you're doing it for the pleasure of the Lord, and Krishna is Bhava Grahi. Krishna already knows what is the attitude with which you're doing the service. And if you have the right attitude, then you'll already feel blissful doing the service. That's why And you see some of the devotees, right, for so many years together, 20, 25 years, they've been either stitching dresses for the deities or they're making garlands, right? It's not that you may have that thing for, say, 1 month or 6 months, right? Somebody tells you, is it nice? Is it nice? Right? How long can you continue in that mental platform? You cannot continue for long. If somebody is doing devotional service, 15 years doing the same seva, then what is it? They are experiencing a higher taste. They are experiencing transcendental pleasure in doing that seva. So that's what it is, right? Mental pleasure, intellectual pleasure, physical pleasure. It is just for a kshana. Kshana means, it is very, very flickering, right? It may exist for some time, but after that it goes away. And then we hanker for more glory. We hanker for more respect, right? But this kind of pleasure, which is situated at the soul level, being the servant of the Lord, working for the pleasure of the Lord, is eternal, it's long lasting. And that is what intelligent people need to seek for, like that. All right. Why have people accepted this sort of civilization? What sort of civilization? Being in the physical platform, mental platform, intellectual platform. We want name, fame, glory. We want nice clothes. We want nice house. We want nice car. Somebody has to tell us, oh, this is a beautiful Mercedes car, right? And then we're so happy. Wow, mera khareedne ka maqsad pura ho gaya, isn't it? But that's not going to last for long. It may give you titillating pleasure for a small period of time, like that. Okay, Sindhu Mataji, go ahead. Why have people accepted this sort of civilization?
Pranams, Mataji. Why have people accepted this sort of civilization? Because they are led by blind leaders. We are conducting this Krishna conscious movement and very few are interested. But suppose we advertise some falsehood. If you follow this path, within 6 months, you will become God and you will be all powerful. Many people would come. This is actually one blind man leading other blind men. Suppose one blind man says, all right, come follow me. I shall help you crossing this busy Mulberry Street. He is blind and the followers are also blind. The result will be that they will be hit by some car or truck and they will all die. We do not know that we are bound by the stringent laws of the material nature. How can we become free from this material bondage? We have to take instruction from those who are not blind, whose eyes are open, and who are liberated from this material bondage. One must take instruction from such persons, and then he will understand his self-interest. Otherwise, if one who is blind takes instruction from a blind man, it will not be possible for him to be liberated from material bondage.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is a case of a blind man leading a blind man. Prabhupada gives this example in one of his lectures, right? The blind man leads another blind man. Both of them jump and fall into a ditch, right? So, and Prabhupada also talks about what is the kind of help that needs to be given, right? He talks about the culture of India and the money of the Western world, right? A crippled man and a blind man can help each other, right? The crippled man can direct, okay, go straight, take left, right? Like that. And he can carry the blind man on his, the blind man can carry the crippled man on his shoulders, and the crippled man can guide him, go straight, go left, like that. In this way, Prabhupada gives an example of how the culture of India as well as the money of the Western world can be brought together. Otherwise, two blind men, they go and then they find their own path, they just fall into a ditch. This is what Prabhupada explains. So we need somebody who has a vision to guide us, to carry us. Right? Prabhupada also gives an example of how we are bound by a golden thread or a silver thread or a copper thread, right? Even a Brahmana, for that matter, is bound by the conditions of knowledge and satisfaction, right? Because he's satisfied, he's so happy telling his rituals, morning prayers, mera sab ho gaya aaj, mera din kitna acha hai, right? But he's still in this material world. Right? But we don't want to stay happy in this material world. We want to go away. We want to go to that place where there is no Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, where there is no impediment in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Isn't it? That is why we need somebody who's not bound. We cannot be unbound by a person who is even bound by a golden thread, because he's also bound. How can he liberate us? We need somebody who's liberated, who's not bound with the three modes of material nature, who is situated in the transcendental platform. That such a person only can unbind us from the three modes of material nature. So that's what it is mentioning. All right. Okay. So that's what is here. The blind man cannot guide another blind man and needs a person with a vision to actually guide that person. Right. Sridhar Prabhu, please go ahead. What is self-interest?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Dandavats Prabhu.
What is self-interest? What is the interest of a child when it is crying? It is the searching after the mother's breast. Anyone who knows this immediately brings the child to its mother. Take care of your child, he is crying. The mother takes him to her breast and the child is immediately happy. The child cannot express what he wants, so he simply cries. But one who knows what he is crying for helps him and the child becomes happy. Similarly, because we are a part and parcel of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are actually crying for Krishna. But these false leaders, these blind leaders who do not know, are giving stone instead of bread. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Right? We saw that story, isn't it? A child getting lost in a mela. Right? Different people come and offer different things. Somebody gives balloon, somebody gives samosa. Right? And the child is also, the mind is diverted for some time, but after that, the child continues to cry. But what can give? What can give ultimate pleasure to the child to be united with his or her parents, isn't it? So in that way, the child will get the samosa and the balloons, the food to eat, the clothing, the shelter, and also the spiritual knowledge to even go back to Godhead, right? So that is what is required, right? We don't want some temporary adjustment to give us some kind of pleasure, to just take our mind away from the real problems of life. We want a real solution to the real problems of life. And that, what is that? To go back to enable the child to go back to its parents. The parents will take care of everything, physical, mental, emotional, social and spiritual needs of the child. Similarly, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Prabhupada says it's like the chanting of a child, it's like the crying of a child for its mother Hara, right? Mother Hara will give Lord Hari, who is a father, to the child who is sincerely chanting the holy names, right? So that is what is required. So this child, if he's just satisfied with the balloons and this thing, then he will not want to go back to his father. But to go back to his father and mother, that is his real happiness, right? That's what is continuing. Prabhupada is continuing. How can one be happy? Yeah. Rishabhanu Kanya Mataji, go ahead. How can one be happy? Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna.
How can one be happy? I have already explained the gross external energy and the subtle external energy. Those who are interested in this gross and subtle external energy will never have their ambition of life fulfilled. One
so the gross, one second, Mataji. So the gross external energy is the earth, water, fire, air, ether, physical pleasure. What is the subtle external energy? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. That means happiness at the level of mind, intelligence, and our egoistic pleasures. Yes, go ahead. One who is interested.
One who is interested in Vishnu and in showing the path of Vishnu is the real friend. One who is giving Krishna consciousness is the real friend of the world. No other can give happiness to human society. That is the explanation given by Prahlad Maharaj. You cannot manufacture a process.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Thank you. We'll end here. So a very beautiful point. On this note, we will end our session today. One who is giving Krishna consciousness is the real friend of the world. It's like the father, right, who gives all the necessities of the child. No others can give happiness to human society. That is the explanation given by Prahlad Maharaj. So what does Prahlad Maharaj say? Prahlad Maharaj says, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pata Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. Right, these are the 9 processes of bhakti by which one can actually transcend the 3 modes of material nature and go back to Godhead. And yad gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam. Having gone to that world, one need not come back to this material world. Now, one need not come back to be suffering in this 3 modes of material nature, right? One need not be satisfied by just this flickering happiness, right? That I get a pencil or a pen or a notebook or a balloon, right? I get that and I be satisfied. Oh my God, I've achieved something great in life, right? But what is it? We are suffering. We are really suffering actually, because every Prabhupada mentions very beautifully in this point, this lecture, that every sense object, right, to the extent it can give us pleasure, to that extent it can give us misery, right? Very simple example. They say I have bought the latest model of iPhone, right? One of my cousins actually had come home. It bought 1,15,000 worth mobile phone, right? I was very shocked, very surprised, right? But it's giving him a lot of pleasure now, right? I've got the latest model of this phone, and they're just showing out to everybody, etc. So I told him, right, if there's a small scratch on the phone, it will be like a scratch in your heart, isn't it? So the same the object that is giving him so much pleasure has a potential to give a lot of misery, right? The same object will give a lot of misery. That is why when we are so much attached to certain things because of their value, because of their beauty, etc. When that, because it's bound to deteriorate, right? Because it's a material object, it is bound to deteriorate. So it is bound to give that much amount of misery. The amount of pleasure it is giving today, it is going to give you the same amount of misery in a short while to come, right? So that's what it is. So we should not be attached to these material things. We should not be attached to these illusions of Maya, right? Of course, it takes a lot of practice to even understand this, right? But otherwise we are thinking, yeah, that's fine, let me enjoy it now, right? Baad mein jo hoga dekha jayega, right? That's the attitude of most people, right? So it takes a lot of study of the Vedic literature to be able to understand this, right? That what is giving me great pleasure today, to the extent it is giving me pleasure, and even to a greater extent, it is going to give me misery. So that is what it is. So let us not be enamored by the halla gulla given by Maya, the illusions of Maya, right? But let us be attached to the lotus feet of Krishna, because there, at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, we can become fearless, we can become really happy, we can become eternally happy, and that kind of happiness is not going to be clouded by any kind of misery. That's where we want to be. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bajahure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Durlabha Manava Janama Satsangya Torahuye Bhava Sindure Sita Atapa Bata Barishana Yedina Jamini Jagire Bifal Sevino Kripana Durajana Chapala Sukhala Bhalagire Yedana Yaubana Putra Parijana Iteke Ache Parati Tire Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Kalamala Bajahu Haripada Nidire Ravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare Pujana Saki Jana Atmani Vedana Govinda Rasa Lashare Abhaya Charanara Vindare Abhaya Charanara Vindare Vajahure Mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Abhaya Charanara Vindare Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Yeah, very beautiful song, right? Govinda Dasa has written this beautiful song. What is the use of the wealth, property, children, family, etc.? Right? Life is tottering, like a lotus leaf. Anytime the life can go away. So what are we attached to? That will be our next destination. Where are we? Wherever we are attached to, whatever we've taken shelter of throughout our life, that is where we will go next. So let us be very careful. What is it that we are attached to? What is it that we are taking shelter of? Very, very important in life. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudeva ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So let's see who all we have today. Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, Ramya Mataji, thank you. Jyotsna Dvivedi Mataji, Sarvagopi Shri Mataji. We have Shobha Mataji, Sridhar Prabhu, Purna Mataji, Suprava Sumitra Mataji. Our regular devotees, thank you. Asmita Mataji, yes, Karpagoli Mataji, Nita Mataji, Sindhu Mataji, Nisha Mataji, and Manmali Prabhu. Manmali Prabhu? Okay, Vanmali Prabhu. Yeah, Vanmali Prabhu. Asmita Mataji, Nagaveni Mataji, then Anjana Mataji, Hema Mataji, and Raki Asrani Mataji joined us for a long time. Nagaveni Mataji also joined us for a long time. Thank you very much for joining in. Panchakalpatarubhyas Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Nitai God Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So if you all are free, we can just do a little bit of chat at the end of Kirtan. We officially end here. So devotees who have other programs can exit. Hari Bol. Dandavat Pranams for joining in. Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Pinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Asyakya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining in. If anyone has any questions, we can take one question and then we'll quickly end today. Today we started on time by the grace
Hare
of everybody.
Krishna. Dandavat
Hare Krishna.
Pranam Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Dandavat Pranam. Yes.
Actually, my Prabhu was not well, Mataji. He was hospitalized and he got gallbladder operated. So I was, And now
he's okay now,
Janmashtami.
Mataji? Who's speaking actually?
I'm Nagveni Ramaya. Neelam
Okay. So he's okay now, Mataji?
Yeah, he's better now.
Okay. So let's chant one time the Panchatattva mantra and 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra to please us Lord Shri Krishna. May Prabhu get back to his good health and always engage in the service of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Radha Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Srila
you so
Prabhupada
much,
ki
all
jai.
Vaishnavas. I missed all your company. Thank you so
Hari
much.
Bol. Thank you.
Hari Bol, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji. Dandavat
All right.
pranam.
So we'll
Hari
end
Bol.
once at least on time. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki